So Joe Rogan had Kid Rock on his show, and it was an absolute train wreck. I saw some of the clips, and then I decided, you know what? I don't want to just react to individual clips I see. I'm going to try to listen to this whole thing so I make sure I've got everything in the right context. Folks, I really tried to make it through that entire episode, but there was not enough Tums and there was not enough Pepto-Bismol in the house to help get me through it. Those are two of the biggest bumbling buffoons that I've ever heard talk in my life, and it's time of my life that I'm never going to get back. But now that I've heard enough, I've got to talk about it. So here we go. They start off just randomly bullshitting about things, and then finally Joe says to Kid Rock, he says, "So, how's it feel to be the guy that brought down Bud Light?" And they both have a good laugh. And Kid Rock says, "Well, yeah, man, I was mad and everything, but man, I was just goofing off, man. I was just finding an excuse to shoot my gun, man. I was just having fun with it." No, what he did was he went out there and he started this boycott of an American company. And he got a whole lot of people to jumping on that bandwagon. And he got a whole lot of hatred aimed toward Dylan Mulvaney. And he got a whole lot of people bullying people in bars for drinking Bud Light. He helped start all that bullshit. And then he realized, hey, wait a minute, I'm kind of a hypocrite because here I am always screaming against woke and cancel culture, but I'm calling for an American company to be put out of business. Maybe I need to start walking this back. And so now he says, oh, I was just having fun with it. And yeah, I've talked with the folks at Bud Light. They're really good people. I want everybody to know they're a really good company. They've done a lot of great things. And I talked with them about ways we could work this out, but I told them, hey, you guys fucked up, man. You didn't recognize your demographic. You didn't play to your audience. Tells you everything you need to know about Bobby Ritchie, a.k.a. Kid Rock. That tells you everything you need to know about him. That guy knows I've got an audience full of inbred idiots, and I'm going to sit and sing my We the People song to that. He phones that garbage in. That last album he made was absolutely phoned in. A 2-year-old could have fell out of bed and on its way down bumped its pacifier against the dresser drawer and wrote something better than that. Okay? So yeah, here's a guy saying they fucked up. Who's he to tell them they fucked up? What business was it of his that an American company decided to put a transgender on a can? But when he sits and talks about how they've worked it out now and they've all apologized to each other, I'm not impressed because that's not the conversation that ever needed to be had. Bud Light didn't owe Kid Rock an apology, and who gives a shit if Kid Rock wants to apologize to them now? Who they should have apologized to and stood by was Dylan Mulvaney. Because of all the hate mail and all the backlash that was directed toward her over all of this, that's who they should be apologizing to. Fuck Bobby Ritchie. Who gives a damn what he thinks? Who gives a good damn one way or the other what that guy thinks? And then they go out and they partner with Shane Gillis, a homophobic comedian. And now Donald Trump's saying give him a second chance, and everybody's going, oh, okay, well, maybe we should drink Bud Light now. But it's too little too late. You drew the line in the sand, and you let us know exactly where you stand. And by the way, after he gets done saying all that shit, he says, oh yeah, there's more deserving companies to boycott, like Starbucks and like Target. Basically any company that does anything for the gay and trans community, boycott them. That's essentially what he was saying. And then just when you think the conversation can't possibly get any worse, they start talking about Israel and Palestine. Now, folks, I'm going to be dead honest with you. I'm going to shoot straight with you. The reason why that I have steered clear from talking about this subject is because I am not educated enough on the region and everything going on to give you a truly informed opinion about it. I can sit here and react to two jokers on a podcast all day long, but I am not an expert in that field, and I'm not going to sit here because I don't know, and I'll own it. And if you ever need Exhibit A as to why two people who don't know shit from apple butter shouldn't be talking about something, go check out what they had to say. Because Kid Rock takes the stance of, well, we just got to start being like Hiroshima, man, and Nagasaki. We just got to bomb them into oblivion. Now, Joe did try to walk it back here. Joe did try to rein him in because he just went completely off the rails talking about how they should just let him go. And at one point he said, yeah, arm them all, and then we have the incentive to go over there and blow them up. It was the craziest shit I've ever sat and listened to, and Joe did try to dial it back and rein it in, and he tried to be a voice of reason in that moment. And I've seen a whole lot of people giving Joe credit and going, well, you know, got to give it to Joe. He was the voice of reason. Okay, good. For what, 2 minutes? You was the voice of reason. The rest of the time you were sitting there giving the microphone to this right-wing nut job who did nothing but spew his ignorance, his bigotry, and his homophobia into your microphone. So I don't really give a damn if Joe Rogan was the voice of reason for a few minutes on one issue. I heard enough of the episode to know that there are two people I don't ever want to hang around or be around or have anything to do with. That is exhibit A as to why people who don't have any expertise in a field shouldn't be talking about it. But there are people out there who will tune in, and they will get their foreign policy advice from Kid Rock and Joe Rogan, and they'll get their medical advice from people like that. And we wonder why the world is such a screwed up place. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for, you know, Joe Rogan having his platform. Let him have his platform. There's times I agree with him. There's times he says things I agree with. There's times that I think the media's got it wrong about him, and I've said so. But here lately, he plays to the audience. He plays to his guest. I don't know if he can remember from one guest to the next, because he did say, he admitted he was stoned in most of his episodes. He's like, sometimes I go back and listen and say, did I say that? Yeah, you did. And for those of us that weren't sitting there stoned every minute of the day, we caught it, and we know what you said. That's why we're still talking about it. But I knew the interview was going to go off the rails really quick, because right at the start, Kid Rock talked about how he watched Fox News all the time, and Joe Rogan said, well, now, if you watch Fox News all day, you'll think the world's going to end. And Kid Rock said, well, yeah, I do watch it all day long, and I do think the world's going to end. And I was like, yep, well, here we go. Buckle up, buy the ticket, take the ride, because you're about to hear some stupidity. So if you guys want to try to go plow through it yourself, go for it. I wouldn't recommend it, but if you want to hear them out, go for it. But yeah, there's no way that I could have been, I could not have been the third man at that table. There's no way that I could have sat there and had that conversation. I have been in situations before where I've been sitting on a bar stool and I'd hear a conversation breaking out next to me, and I would just be like, yeah, I think I'll see you guys later. I'm done with this shit. Fuck it. I'm out.